Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we're going to do a real-life location map from a creator we haven't done for quite some time. We first reviewed them back in episode 23 when they didn't get any stars at all because we didn't actually have a star rating back then. And then episode 39 where they got 9 stars, 3 for aesthetics, 2 for detail and 4 for gameplay potential. Now today's map is going to be a challenging map if you like a nice smooth flat map to build on. You're not going to be into this one, but if you did like a bit of a challenge and want to do a real life location map, it could be one worth considering. But before we do any considering of maps, whether they be flat or undulating, I have one little thing. It is of course the daily reminder. That's right, joining all these lovely new faces by hitting that like button is a very good way of supporting the channel, and for that I thank you very, very much. Right, today's map is Prince Edward Island by a bag full of puppies. Prince Edward Island, of course, off the eastern coast, that's the one, of Canada, that's the one. There's your start square. We'll look at that in a bit more detail in just a few moments. Won't take us very long to get to that because there's not much in the way of networking. We do have some undulation. It's, well, we'll look closer at the undulation later as well. Resources, we got offshore fertile. Yeah, we'll look at that in a little bit more detail later as well. And of course, if you have Sunset Harbour and want to do some fishing, there's a lot of shellfish. Also some salmon in the rivers too. Off to the workshop, what do we need? The answer is, well, nothing. It's a vanilla map. We'll be using the vanilla European theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT. Does say there in the description that there is offshore oil. The oil is offshore and you'll have to import. Good luck. Well, when they say offshore, we'll look at that in a lot of detail after the intermission. Right, okay, this is, I think they call this Confederation Bridge. I could be wrong on that one. I did read, but it was about half an hour ago and I've been doing a few jobs since. And in real life, there is a bridge here. It isn't a double highway bridge, but of course we've got to allow traffic to get into our simulation city. And it isn't a suspension bridge, it's just like an elevated bridge. That said, what we've got here is not bad at all, and I'm very happy with what I see across here. This will do. This will do. I think it would have looked more realistic without the suspension all the way across, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. It's not the biggest of problems. Coming off, looking from above, that is very slickly aligned, but of course it's not quite perfectly aligned at ground level. You can see we come down to ground level a little bit too soon, and so the slopes aren't perfectly aligned there, but it's okay. Anyway, this is the start square. That's all you've got in the way of highways. So let's look around for a little asset for review, shall we? There's one just on the left there. And it's the Hala Podpromie Rzeszów by Pewex. And if you want to have a little outdoor, well, an indoor arena on the outdoors, this is pretty good too. I do need to let you know that I did actually flatten the terrain to place this down because there's no flat terrain anywhere on the map and it would have been glitchy. So yeah, if you're going to do the same, you probably want to do the same. Right, factoids, because factoids. The 100 years... Right, sorry, I take that back. I'm going to start again with that one because I'm putting in words that do not exist. The 100 Years' War, let's see, lasted 116 years. And that factoid would become moot if I put in the 100 Years' War because it was, well, they would have called it the 116 Years' War otherwise, wouldn't they? But it's getting called it the 100 Years' War. Anything over 100 years is 100 years, isn't it? Plus. Anyway, Hala Podpromie, possibly completely butchered by me. By Rzeszów, probably also butchered by me. By Pewex, not butchered at all, very nicely made. Today's asset of the day. Now, as there's no more networking, we'll go straight to an intermission and we'll come back and have a look at all the interesting bits on this one.
I can't believe I'm plugging this, but my husband, this old gamer, has a YouTube channel where he builds cities or something. He thinks he's funny and different from other Cities Skylines channels, but what he needs to do is take out the trash. But in the meantime, check out This Old Gamer.
And so back to Prince Edward Island by a bag full of puppies. We do have a shipping route on this side of the island, loops around, manages to avoid going through the bridge. And I know it's a simple thing, a very simple thing, and should go without saying. But there are so many creators that just go straight through the bridge like it just wasn't there. So when you see somebody actually avoiding a bridge like that, I think it needs to be mentioned and credit given, even though it just seems like there shouldn't need to be credit. Genuinely, there does need to be credit. So anyway, it's been a long time since we did a bag full of puppies, and I should check them out a bit more regularly because they have got quite a few maps on their workshop now. We also have, in terms of water flow, although we are not relying on these rivers for water flow, there are some working rivers. You can see we do have some water flow there. But if you're looking for water flow at the start square to take the sewage away, well, it's kind of edge of map water flow pushing in towards the island, and that won't be doing it for you. There are, of course, other solutions, but if you're looking for that, you won't find it. Now, remember it said offshore oil. Now, I thought this was going to be a glitch. When they said offshore oil, I thought, no, this is going to be an error. This is going to be a problem on my computer. So I decided to paint some oil just to see whether or not it's a glitch. Bigger brush size would be quite nice so we can see it. And there. So our offshore oil is actually fertile, and that is, for me, the biggest error with the map. Probably won't break it for most of you, but if you are looking to do some offshore oil drilling, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. Just a little bit disappointed. That's an oops, I think they call that. A big oops. Anyway, the map as a whole, in real life, it is it's quite heavily developed in terms of farming. There's loads of farms across the island and a couple of decent sized towns as well. It's not one of these Canadian islands that is completely underneath the glaciers. You will notice we are undulating quite heavily with little hills, and we switch the lines. Thank you very much. We'll switch the hills on there. You can see they're quite bad. There's no flat area on this map at all. So if you're looking for a flat map, you're not going to be very happy. If you do like a bit of a challenge though in terms of undulating, and you don't mind doing a little bit of terrain work, then maybe this is the challenge that you're looking for. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what you're looking for. I'm just telling you what I'm finding and letting you make your own decisions. But anyway, yes, it's good to see different parts of the world being covered that haven't been covered before in terms of these map designs. Then look at that. We've got some good looking. The first clue there might be some issues, like little glitching going on there and there. And then if we go and find a couple of rivers over to the left-hand side of the start square. I say left-hand side, I mean... where are we? It'd be west, the west side of the start square. Look at this river here. A good shape, interesting shape as well. Meanders, widens, tightens. It's interesting, but it just doesn't have the weight to reach the ocean. You see, it just dries out a bit here. I have given the map plenty of time to settle, and that water just does not make the ocean there. You also see a little bit of digitization going on there. Same here, this river doesn't quite make it, and we've got a little bit of digitization you can make out with the dots in the map. So just a little bit more time spent on the rivers would be good. You also see a little bit of digitization along the coastlines. I'll show you a few areas here and here. You've got a few potholes along there as well, where the smoothing tool hasn't been used everywhere. There's a few areas that have just been missed, which says to me that the map was finished in a hurry, which, I mean, that's fair enough. It's fair enough, but I have to rate it on what I find, and of course this is easily fixed. You might want to put some nice harbours along here and some key fronts and stuff like that. But I just have to rate what I find and what I see. And I don't have a big problem with a little bit of digitisation here and there myself, but there we are. Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. Right, what do I think of the map in terms of giving this some ratings? Well, let's see. Aesthetically, it certainly looks like the Prince Edward Island. It does. it does. Although it currently looked like a lot of farms on it, and certainly a lot less forestry. But I do feel, given it looks like the area and it's not abhorrent in any way, I can give it a solid 3 stars. 3 stars for aesthetics. Detailing, there are a few glitchy bits that could do with fixing, and I think we've got to comment about that bridge. It should barely be just been an elevated bridge. I'm going to give it a low 3, very low 3 for that one. I think it still deserves just about a 3 because there's no major issues with this map. And in terms of gameplay potential, well, other than the offshore oil and it being a bit challenging, it's kind of okay. I think the offshore oil is a big issue. I can't go to 4 stars because of that. I'll give it a medium low 3. Still playable, still a pass mark. And Prince Edward Island, Buy a Bag for the Puppies, is still a 3s across the board map. So there we are. Well done, Bag for the Puppies. 3s across the board. Nothing to be ashamed of. There are obviously bits that can be polished up with that map, but it's not the worst. And of course, switch it for a custom theme and it will look a lot more glorious than it does already. Anyway, we are still here. Oh, if you're still here with me, you are in the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day, that word there, in the comments and score yourself 100 population points just for fun. And don't talk about where you got this from our secret society. It's just you and me. Shh, don't tell the others. And I'll see you Monday. Thanks for watching.